Yeah, baby, this is efficiency. Sustainability. It's finest. Yet again, harvesting trash. Energetic alchemy. Trash to gold. Waste to food. Workout. Not only are we turning trash to gold, but we're getting our tans and our workouts free of membership. Keep pulling.
You need to give me a little slack there. A little bit more.
Yeah, that's good. And then we'll just do it up like through here.
Right?
Whatever rains.
Woo! That was real funky.
We just got back from a industrial harvest. We found a carpet place. They've got huge warehouses full of carpet, and not only do they sell it, but of course they install it. And so they're going to people's houses, and they're ripping out the carpet that those people have there, and then they're taking it in a truck and throwing it away, throwing it in huge dumpsters. Not only is it going to trash, and not only do they have to haul it around, but they have to pay to get it dumped. So not only is all this being wasted, but it's also going to the trash as useless. Now I'm taking this carpet that people are paying to get rid of. I'm actually taking it for free from somebody. And I'm actually using this carpet. And so I can use it over here in a section like this grass. See, here at the Garden of Eden, our soil is so rich and so alive, so abundant, that everything just wants to grow all the time. So like we've got these grasses that are, 2 weeks old, and they're multiple feet tall, just totally lush and alive. And while grass is a really important plant on Earth, it's not as useful as some other things, say like sweet potatoes, or tomatoes, or peppers. Right, so I would actually prefer to have something else growing here, but with all this grass here, it's taking a lot of sun, it's taking a lot of water, it's taking a lot of nutrients from the soil. So I'm taking this trash substance and I'm saving these squash vines here, so I want to keep them growing, and I'm covering this grass. So I'm taking the trash that's going to the trash, and instead of buying a material or contributing to consumerism, I'm just taking trash and I'm changing this grass into whatever I want. Because this carpet is going to lay over the grass, it's going to smother that grass, and it's actually going to decompose that grass into the earth. And as it decomposes in the grass, see, we've just got like wild things growing up all over the place, even in this grass. This is basil. Beautiful, perfect, wild crafted basil. So I'm still going to cover this up. And now I'm changing grass into whatever I want. It's all going to decompose right into the earth. And then I can actually leave this carpet down, and I can poke holes in it, and I can plant whatever I want in, say, a month, or next season, or even now. Or I can actually just use this to get a clean slate in my garden, and then when I want to plant, I can just roll it back. I can just roll it to the side, to the edge of the garden, and it just sits there. And then we go, and all this grass is gone. It's been fully composted into the soil, so the soil is alive, it's rich, it's moist. And I can plant whatever I want. And then ideally I would mulch that. But even if I didn't mulch, even if this, because see, this can be used in the process of tilling. See, people till because, one, they need to get the roots and the plants and all the stuff from the crop before like gone away so they can plant a new fresh crop. And they also need to turn up the soil so that the sprouts, the small plants, can grow. And they need to add, fertilizers and, all sorts of nutrients to the soil because the soil's depleted. And then they plant the plants in there, and the soil has been added with nutrients, but the soil is still not a self-sustaining circle of life consciousness. And so every single year, you're tilling the soil to get rid of the plants before and to re-fertilize and to plant new seeds, that have been perfectly selected, by some genetically modified company that, makes these seeds. And so instead of that, every single year, all this money, all this equipment, all these things produced in factories, you just have living soil like this. This doesn't ever need to be tilled because I'm not using machines that pack it down, and because the soil is protected from the sun. When the soil gets tilled up, there's no plants, there's no leaves, there's no mulch, it's just soil. It gets burnt by the sun, it gets dried out, it gets dehydrated. And hydration is an essential aspect of human thrival. And that includes the minerals and the vitamins. If the vitamins and the minerals that we're taking into our body aren't hydrated, aren't alive, they're very unutilizable by the body. Whereas when you have hydrated nutrients, the body can absorb them. And that's one of the reasons why raw foods are very often a much higher life force energetic versus cooked foods. And that's why a lot of people, are switching their diets to eat more raw foods, is to get that life force energy, those hydrated nutrients, right? So same thing with the soil. The soil gets all dried up. The vitamins and the minerals get exposed to the sun. The sun, pretty much depletes all the vitamins. The minerals get dehydrated, and so now they're not absorbable, because see, what happens is that the water comes, ideally rain, but whatever water comes, it saturates and hydrates the soil, hydrates the minerals, and then the water is actually the transport, is the bridge for the nutrients to be utilized by the roots of the plants. So if you have unhydrated, dehydrated soil, even when it's watered, the nutrients don't really have time to properly hydrate and get properly utilized. So they're using all these, synthetic fertilizers and nutrients that, stimulate certain aspects of growth, or, just they're using all sorts of like adrenaline boosts or steroids or, fertilizers, just like lots of nitrogen, light nitrogen boosts, but no like sustaining minerals or vitamins. So with this garden, because we're not tilling, the soil is not being exposed to the sun, it's not being hydrated. This soil never dries out. The soil is always moist, it's always alive. So the huge factor with ideal soil is that the soil is alive, because there's all these microorganisms that live in living soil that don't live in dry, dehydrated soil. And it takes time. It's a process for these microorganisms to build up, because they need a proper environment to thrive. So when you till, not only are you destroying all those nutrients and dehydrating the soil, but you're also losing all the microorganisms. You're having to add all these fertilizers, and then you've got these plants that need all these herbicides and all these pesticides because they're really weak. And you got to do it all over again every year. So this is living soil. It's got the microorganisms. It's got worms that are growing in there. Worms are like the new paradigm, or the natural, the life, circle of life tillers. So they live in the soil, and they're eating things like cardboard, newspaper, leaves. They're eating decomposing elements, and they're going through the soil, and you know, they're moving around sort of like we move around in cars, but instead of driving on cars that are pavement over land, cut down trees, you know, destroyed grasslands, you know, bugs, animals, blah, 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 they're actually going through the soil, and as they go, they're loosening that soil. They're aerating the soil. They're allowing air and oxygen to come into the soil, which helps the microorganisms thrive. The water is penetrating deeper because the soil is not like super compact. So the water penetrates much deeper. And as they're doing it, they're leaving their worm castings, which is just worm feces, worm poo, right? But their poo is like the best nutrient for plants. So we're really just like eating worms' poo around here, you know? And that's like the ideal plant food. That's what makes things grow so thriving. They're like the perfect composter. They're the perfect tillers, right? So when you're tilling, you're destroying all the worms. Those blades are going through the ground. Worms are just destroyed in its wake. Plus, worms can't live in dry soil anyway. So even if you didn't kill them with the tiller, they're going to be dead because of the dryness of the soil. Here we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of worms. And we've got worm farms that we're cultivating worms and adding them to the garden. And it's just more and more and more. So every year, every day, the Garden of Eden is becoming more abundant, more efficient. It's thriving, it's upgrading every day, versus being completely destroyed every year, resubstituted through trucks and machines and factories and chemicals, right? It's just every year it's getting easier and easier and easier. Our soil's getting better and better and better. And once the circle of life activates, you don't ever have to provide compost. You don't ever have to provide herbicides or pesticides. You've got these strong, thriving plants, and because you've got a true ecosystem, everything plays a part in that. Like I could throw some stumps out here, and the ants are going to live inside of those stumps, and they're just going to eat that stump apart. You know, 1, 2 years maybe, and that whole solid stump is now just crumble. Perfect nutrients for the soil, right? Whereas if it were to just stay out there without any ants, without any bugs, it's going to be there for years and years and years. So the bugs are actually accelerating that process. I'm not killing the bugs. I'm not getting rid of them. I'm allowing them to support the whole ecosystem. You know, we can take newspaper, cardboard, we can take people's trash and just like throw it away here, and we're eating it in a year. Literally, we're eating cardboard, we're eating newspaper, we're eating wood chips, we're eating leaves, we're eating junk mail, right? We're eating bugs, we're eating dead, decomposing bugs, we're eating feces of bugs and animals. You know, the plants from last year, we're not ever ripping them up and, you know, burning them in a pile or throwing them away in trash bags. We're taking people's trash bags, adding it to our crop, and just every year it's getting more abundant, and it's just so activated. I mean, these sweet potatoes are just, whoo! So this trailer load right here of trash is like our gold. It's so utilizable for us. Not only are we finding a way to use trash, but we're finding a way to use it to benefit thrival and sustainability. And that trailer is just a load of possibility, a load of potential. Like, it's energy that can be totally utilized, and we're just energetic alchemists. just facilitating the exchange of energy. The more energy is exchanging, the more intense, the more the vortex becomes. And every day, new trailer loads of trash are coming in, and they're activating and empowering this whole property to an upgraded frequency. And little by little, little by little, little by little, one breath at a time, carrying one load at a time. Back to work!
Aho, brother. Brought to you by New Paradigm Network.